Welcome to Review Every Ship by CitizenCon 2024. The point is to give an update on every ship since some haven't had a video made about them in years, and others, the information is simply too spread out to be helpful in making decisions. Remember, digital ships aren't imaginary, digital ships are Imagine-necessary. Every month we do a giveaway to give back to this wonderful community. This month's giveaway prize is going to be either an Anvil Terrapin, or if we hit 6,500 human subscribers before CitizenCon, I will give away an Anvil Carrack. So, make sure you share the channel and tell your org mates to come and check us out. To enter the contest, make sure you're subscribed to Billionaire Ninjas, leave a comment on at least one video, and like or dislike at least one video. Winners have 2 weeks to claim their prize. Members collectively have a 25% chance of winning just for being members. So if you're subscribed, consider hitting that join button. And if you're not subscribed, I appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. For the full giveaway details, make sure you visit our Billionaire Ninjas Discord or our social media at Ninjas Leap. Today, we continue our trip through the RSI manufacturer, and the next ship is the RSI Scorpius, and it's one variant. We have the Scorpius base, $240 standalone, $220 war bond, was $200 at concept. Cost in game is about $5.4 million. The Antares, which is $230 standalone, $210 war bond, was $190 at concept. Cost in game is about $5.5 million. All the Scorpius series is time limited for real world purchase. These ships are not available to rent inside the game. From RSI's expert research and development teams in Killian, and the same engineers that brought you some of the galaxy's most vaunted war machines, comes the next evolution in heavy combat, interception and defense, the RSI Scorpius. With an adaptable bi-wing configuration and revolutionary rail-mounted remote turret, the Scorpius offers unprecedented fire coverage, allowing for both defensive and assault-minded applications. The Scorpius Antares is a variant of the Scorpius Heavy Fighter. Equipped with a co-pilot operated EMP device and quantum jammer in place of its turret, specializing in short-range takedowns and squad-focused attacks, the Antares is a powerful utility fighter that can disable and trap enemy vessels while continuing to output significant firepower. The Scorpius and Scorpius Antares.
Red 11 standing by.
Red 5 standing by.
Lock air spoils in attack position.
For measurements, the Scorpius are all the same, but it actually has two measurements, one for when it's not folded, which is a length of 32 meters, beam of 24 meters, height of 13 meters, and it makes them a size 2 small ship. Measurements for the fully folded Scorpius, a length of 30 meters, beam of 13.2 meters, and height of 6.1 meters. For crew, the Scorpius series all have the same minimum crew, which is 1, and maximum crew, which is 2. All the Scorpius carry 0 SCU, however, they do have 1,290 micro SCU of stowage available. The claim time for all these ships is about 7.5 minutes. The expedited claim time is about 2.5 minutes, and the fee for expediting the claim time is about 3,800 credits. For top SCM speed, the Scorpius has 220 for its SCM top speed, which is average, and a max speed of 1375, which is slightly above average. For maneuverability, the Scorpius series are both the same, and they are both below average. For weapons, the base comes stock with 4 size 3 Panther laser repeaters, 1 size 3 co-pilot controlled Panther laser repeater turret, and 16 size 2 cross-section missiles. The Antares comes with the same thing, except it has an EMP generator instead of that co-pilot turret. It also has a size 3 quantum dampener, and it keeps those same missiles. For hull HP, the base and the Antares both have 43,660, which is above average. For shields, the base comes stock with 1 full stop military grade C bubble type shield with 6,000 total HP and recovering 268 HP per second. For ship parts, the Scorpius all have the same size parts. They have 1 small radar, 1 small computer, 2 small power plants, 2 small coolers, 1 medium shield generator, 2 small fuel intakes, 2 small fuel tanks, a small quantum drive, a small jump module, and 1 small quantum fuel tank. The Antares adds an additional power plant for the EMP and quantum dampener. Hydrogen capacity for all these ships is the same and is below average. The quantum capacity for all these ships is also slightly below average. The quantum ability for these ships is planetary, meaning you will be able to travel to another planet in the solar system and maybe the next solar system one way, but for the latter you may need to refuel once along the way. Some special features and amenities for these ships are, well, these are just double seat fighters, so no amenities really because there is no interior. However, the ships do kind of fold down to become smaller and easier to fit in hangars. My preferred loadout for the Scorpius base, well, it is fast but not maneuverable, so it needs to be able to get off a lot of shots in quick succession. So keep the stock weapons except for the turret, which should be swapped for a Mantis GT220, and worry more about getting your missiles shot out, which should be swapped for infrared missiles, at least half of them. Then, with the reduced load from the weapons, you should be able to move to all military class A parts in this ship. For the Scorpius Antares, all 4 weapons should be Dominance scatterguns because you have a ton of HP for your size, so you can afford to take hits as you get in close. And you'll need to get in close to keep that target quantum dampened and to get off your EMP charges. However, you should upgrade your coolers and power plant to industrial grade A so you can get grade A military components on everything else. A quick shout out to my members, my First Ninjas, Star Touch and Rob, my Hokage, Old Weeb, my Joni Ninjas, Radium TX, Paling Tan, The Solid Exodus, Damon Donaldson, Dark Wolf God, ETL in Spades, Sean Phillips, and Rage 1. Then my Chunin Ninjas, Raygun 972, Walk on Your Side, Scorpio King 3, Soul Galaxia, Meat Salad, Praetorian, Jay Solus, Waterfox Studios, San Chimera, and new Chunins, Rotten Treats, and BMC. Oh, and don't forget Bears Junkie 23. Of course, thank you to all my other members from every level who are all listed at the end of the video. As always, membership is never required but always appreciated. You help make this YouTube dream even more possible, so thank all of you. And a special thanks to my gifted subscribers, Cody DeGriz, Trent Newman, Nethern, Sean Mabe, Artemis TGM, Stang, and Simi.g. Now it's time to rate these ships. A rating I rate from 1 to 10. My 1 is only by if you have a unique reason that is specific to you or because you like the looks of this ship. My 10 is if you have the money, these ships are almost guaranteed to be useful to you in the game. A 1 doesn't mean the ships are useless or ugly, and a 10 doesn't mean that the ships are perfect. Just remember, these are just our ratings. Please give us yours in the comments down below, and if you're going to fact check me, at least show your sources. Because sometimes you are just saying a thing you believe that's different than the thing I believe. Which is fine, but that's not fact checking. My rating for this ship is, of course, going to be handed out based on which variant we're looking at. The base is a 6. The Antares is a 5. Let's start with what I like about these ships. Well, the base and the Antares are very unique ships. They are size 2 heavy fighters that can shrink to size 1 heavy fighters and fit within most small hangars. It's something that I feel like a lot of people need who own those ships and want to take a bit more firepower with them rather than just the random size 1 or snub. I also like that both are very fast ships and won't have a lot of trouble chasing down their targets. What I like about the base specifically is that it's purpose built to do a heavy fighter role, and it actually performs like a heavy fighter should, where it's either tough and fast with a lighter weapons loadout or tough and slow with a heavier weapon loadout. This one took the speed, which I like because another ship since has taken the slow and heavy route. So this ship does indeed fill an empty slot in the heavy fighter meta. What I like about the Antares is that it has both the EMP drive and the quantum dampener. Unless I'm in a snub, I think all ships that have one should have the other. Lastly, you have got to love the X-Wing look and the way those things fold. The Scorpius is a very, very nice looking ship, and I guarantee you there are some people who have it just because it looks like the X-Wing. The issues with all these ships and how I would fix them. Well, I get why they don't have interiors because they are made to shrink. I get why they have the wings out so it can look like the X-Wing. What I don't understand is why the wings are so weak. Those things house my guns. So yes, I care very much when they get knocked off so easily, and if you've flown this, you know it's a massive blow to lose a wing. The base? Well, it has 2 major issues, and they are called the F-8C and the Avenger Titan. The F-8C is a much better ship than the Scorpius. However, it's slower, so you have to be a better shot than most other players, and of course, it's $300, and you can't CCU to it and can't get LTI on it unless, of course, you spend a lot of money on the game. On the faster end though, you have the Avenger Titan, easily one of the best fighters in the game as of 3.24.1, and is a third of the price of the Scorpius. Why would I mention those ships? Well, because when you're talking about smaller fighters, there is no in-the-middle ship. You have to know your targets and pick them carefully, as well as pick your shots. If you want to damage it severely, there is no better choice than the F8C, depending on the speed of the target. You could even go for the F7C. But then you sacrifice some of the toughness and long-range ability. Then the Avenger Titan has the upper end of speed covered because it's much faster than the Scorpius and the F8C and much more maneuverable. Huge gain to the cargo carrying ability and the addition of a bed and bathroom. The Antares suffers from the same issues but is worse because the EMPs and dampeners are so weak right now. The range on them doesn't make any sense. We shouldn't have to get that close to use them. Also, a ship purpose-built with a dampener and EMP sounds really weak when I know the Mantis is just down the street and outperforms this in every way except weapons. But then again, it can pull people out of Quantum, which is just incredibly powerful, so this ship can't do that. Then there is the objective upgrade, which is the Vanguard Sentinel, which has the range and firepower, but also the massive ship toughness. That brings me to my real, or perhaps just my biggest issue with these ships, the cost. I can't for the life of me figure out where I'm getting more than $200 worth of value out of these ships. I would be better off taking a step up to get more out of the ship and pay the premium, or stepping down to get less, but at least getting my money's worth. The best part of these ships are their speed and the amount of weapons they bring to bear, but requiring a second pilot makes the advantage nearly obsolete because this is one of the most obvious times where people are better off bringing two cheaper ships than bringing the same ship with two people inside. That brings me to why these ships are a 6 and a 5. If they were cheaper, they would have better scores. But it seems like CIG was trying to thread the needle with both pricing and utility, and they missed the mark. They did still hit something though. This ship's major ability is its ability to shrink down and fit into other ships. And the fact that it looks like an X-Wing from Star Wars obviously is a plus. People are going to want this for one of those two reasons. Because they can squish a heavy fighter into the hangar or cargo bay of another ship, or because they have always wanted to fly an X-Wing. If you're one of those two people that need this ship for those reasons, I respect your purchase. However, if you're not one of those people, then I have more questions, because why didn't you get two Arrows? Why didn't you get a Talon and a Gladius? Why didn't you get Avenger Titan and a F7C Mark II? I mean, so many other two-person, two-ship combinations are both cheaper and more effective. And then, if you really need to bring a friend, why didn't you get a Hurricane, Vanguard Sentinel, Cutlass Blue? The 6 and the 5 are not marks of the ship being bad. They are mostly marks of both ships being average. But I think they could easily be fixed with just one of 3 or maybe 4 things. 1, bring the maneuverability up to above average. Or 2, give that second pilot a bigger weapon such as size 4 turret. Or 3, give the pilot access to all the guns, drop the missile count by 4 to balance it. Or 4, make the ship tougher overall, upgrade half of those weapons to size 4s in general, and then it becomes a much more menacing threat. All of those are valid options. Also, you could give the Antares pilot access to a small size weapon or something, because what the heck are they going to do while they wait for the next EMP charge? And it's weird, all of this sounds weird to say, because the Scorpius is a formidable ship when it's out in the verse, and I very much so enjoyed flying it. It's just awkwardly placed as far as price, weapons, and capability. The thing is, it's also a solid solo ship, regardless of which ship you choose. And having that multi-crew ability is nice. It's just, if you give me a situation, I can almost certainly point you to a cheaper ship that can do it, or a slightly more expensive ship that can do it much better. With the exception of fitting a heavy fighter in a smaller ship and looking like an X-Wing. So who are these ships for? Well, they both are for people who always have at least 2 people when they play, and on top of that, for people who have a ship that can fit this inside. The base is for people who would prefer to fight more traditionally and keep a bit more distance from the enemy. The Antares is for people who want to get right up close and personal because you really have to stay within the 5,000 meter range for the ship to be effective, but also for people who have a really patient second player. I imagine using the base as a quick reaction force ship for when I have more people than I have ships. For instance, in deep space where I would have a hard time getting more ships out, so everybody could participate in the fight without having to stay on the ground. The Antares would be used the same exact way, with the exception that it would be more for atmospheric fighting than space, because then I could watch the target drop out of the sky towards the planet in terror. I know you're here for our rating, but if you really want a ship, go buy it. We won't stop you, or even better, all ships can be earned in-game once the game is released, and some you can purchase in-game right now. These are just our ratings, but when you spend, it's your money. My opinion? I would think long and hard about why I'm spending my money on these. Is it for actual utility or cool factor? I see one or two use cases, but they are very niche. If you fit into that niche, you'll have a blast with it. Just make sure you CCU to get it because it's still overpriced. But if you're not in that niche, and your favorite part of Star Wars wasn't the Battle of Yavin, it's an earning game to me. Alright, that is it for this one. Shout out to the members. Thanks for spending your time with us. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.